Bear Act and lawyers are synonyms, but we're here to talk to lawyers who dared to act differently. A very warm welcome to all of you, and a big welcome for you to join our first chat show with the Dare Act series. My name is Shreya, and our endeavor with this series is to bring forward stories of lawyers who chose unconventional career paths and roles after practicing the law. Now, our first guest for today is Sonam Sehgal. She's a special legal correspondent at The Hindu. I'm going to now invite Sonal to our chat. Yay, I made it happen.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you?
Yes, loud and clear.
Great.
Thank you for being a part of this first session. Thank you for agreeing to be our first guest, Sonam.
I'm so glad and so excited.
Likewise, all of us are, I'm sure, for that. So, Sonam, tell us, graduating in journalism to going ahead and pursuing and doing LLB to going deep diving into legal journalism, that career trajectory is quite commendable. So, tell us what made you take those career choices and, how has that journey been so far?
I was always very clear that I wanted to be a journalist because journalism is something that came very naturally to me. It was my calling. And then while I was practicing being one, I realized the need to have some sort of a specialization. So what better than law? Because it has always fascinated me. I have always been lured with the idea of justice and how there are so many laws and, just the detail of the entire profession. So I said, yeah, why not pick up the law and study and see where that takes me? So that's when while I was practicing, while I was a journalist, I started studying LLB for 3 years, and then I sort of zoomed into legal journalism.
Wow. And while you were studying LLB, did it even sometimes did it occur to you that, nahi yaar, let me just practice the law? Was it daring for you?
Oh no, not at all. I was very sure I don't want to be a lawyer because I think there are enough and more lawyers in the city and the country. Not that there is a dearth of journalists, but I thought in 2010 one can do with one more journalist.
Wonderful. So tell us, as a journalist, especially legal journalism, what does your work entail? What is it that you do on a daily basis?
So, with the Hindu, it is very different because I am the only journalist that takes care of the entire legal beat. So I have to cover matters that happened in the High Court, all the other courts in the city, and also important legislative matters, when there's an important bill or something that has been discussed that needs to be passed. So it is somehow my duty to write about that. So whether you have your Indrani Mukherjee case going on, or your PILs, or even commercial matters, all of that is covered by me. So we ideally go to the court and write the proceedings down, have our affidavits, petitions, go through all those papers, and then come up with this small piece in the newspaper that you read the next day.
So it's all of that goes behind that, that restricted small
Yeah,
paragraph.
it
Wow.
is very challenging.
Is there a team of legal journalists that you have in your office, or
In
it's just
our organization, for Bombay, no. Usually, before Hindu, I was with Hindustan Times. So there we had, we were five of us actually. We were three of us for the High Court because it's huge and there are all kinds of matters happening every day. And then two for lower courts. But yeah, at the Hindu, it's just me.
wow? And is it necessary to do LLB for
No,
legal
no.
journalism?
No, it's not a prerequisite, at least to cover high courts. For the Supreme Court, yes. For the Supreme Court, you either have to be an LLB or you have to have 5 years in a certain organization practicing legal journalism.
Oh, wow, interesting. I
So
didn't know
not
that.
yet for, yeah. A lot of people don't know that. So not yet for the Bombay High Court and the other courts. Not yet.
Do you think that's important? It should be made a mandatory criteria?
I don't think it should be made mandatory, but I feel it's always better that you have a more clearer, deeper understanding of the subject that you're going to cover. You know, when there are these legal jargons that are thrown inside courtrooms, I feel if you have that sort of an education and that background, it'll be easier for you to, condense what is being said into a simpler version for your readers. So
Wow.
it definitely helped me.
So journalism was your, of course, you did your graduation in that. Love was law, and then you merged both of them together. So it
Yeah,
became
I
law and
married the two.
that's amazing. So tell us, okay, I know for a fact that you cover some really interesting cases happening around in tribunals as well as in High Court. But if I had to ask you one case, okay, one case which was extremely intriguing to you, not just because you had to do your work and cover it, but just because it gave you a lot of learnings at the procedural level, at how legal proceedings are conducted, and also, I'm sure as a reporter, there's a lot of things that you observe that's happening around while you're
Yeah.
covering a particular case. So, is there something you can share with us with respect to one case that's been an intriguing one?
So I don't intend to sound contentious, but it was actually the Salman Khan's hit and run case because I had covered his entire trial where I saw him being convicted. I also saw him crying, and then I saw him get bail on the same day. And then I also covered the entire appeal in the High Court where he was acquitted. So that really, really makes you realize that, devil does lie in the detail, and how the same facts can be interpreted, rather misinterpreted by different judges, and, which leads to such extreme results. So the entire case was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The prosecution, and how you actually, in cases like these, you realize that you have a battery of lawyers for Mr. Khan, and there are these 2 3 prosecutors fighting against the mighty, and then they're running around to another court for another matter, while you have the senior counsels just walking into their plush offices. So the disparity is right there. So it was really, really nice to see that.
Yeah, and and especially watching this firsthand must be like,
Yeah,
it's right there, so it's happening for true. That's quite interesting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was.
And
It was.
tell me, when you go to courts, when you go to high courts, and when you go to junior to various other judicial forums, like your small tribunals and stuff, your role as a legal reporter, okay, and I'm just talking about probably from the perspective of how people perceive, and since in courts all you see are lawyers, how lawyers perceive. So has the role of a legal reporter changed with time? Do you see any change happening?
Yes. Yes, it has changed a lot. I think only because of the sheer number of people who have joined this small niche, as I would call it. Because what used to happen earlier was we were literally invisible. We would stand quietly in one corner, take our notes, go back and file our stories. Now, what has happened is, media, the entire industry is booming. So there are lawyers who are always seeking for publicity and always wanting to see their names in the papers. They're literally hounding us to carry what they have to say. And even judges, actually, they've become very much aware of being watched and viewed by us. So that
Yeah.
puts us in a spot where you actually have to be more responsible about what you're doing. Yeah, that has happened. There has been a shift in the way the judiciary is perceiving the media now.
And taking seriously.
Yeah,
And there
definitely
was very
taking
less.
seriously.
Wow, that's interesting. So, in times that we're living in, we're in 2020 now, and you've already seen the transition that has happened in terms of having legal reporters and legal journalists on board with all these not just newspapers but even your TV channels that cover
Yeah.
news. Do you think there's a high demand for legal journalists, especially, I
Uh,
mean, people who've done their LLB?
Yeah, I definitely think that there is a need to have as more journalists who are covering the law, and they a lot of publications and channels do have enough. But I think what we really need is somebody who understands the nuances of what goes behind a judgment. You know, when an Ayodhya judgment is delivered, or a Sabrimala, or even a Salman Khan judgment for that matter. Somebody who can have a nuanced perspective about how the same case led to conviction and then acquittal. So there is a need for that. Yes.
Have you seen it happen where somebody who doesn't understand the legal jargon may have, like a reporter may have ended up kind of twisting and turning the words and making it
Oh,
sound very different from, yeah?
happens all the time. Unfortunately, it happens all the time with TV reporters, where I have to literally sometimes go to them, run and tell them, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Subjudice does not mean this, and things like status quo doesn't mean this, and sometimes it's crazy. Their own misinterpretation can really create a havoc.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for actually going and correcting them, because at least someone's doing that. Right?
Oh, that's just me. The bug is too big.
I guess the love for law is too big.
Yeah.
So tell me, if I had to ask you, Sonam, can you break some myths about journalism, or if we make it more precise, legal journalism, or somebody who's a legal journalist? There are certain perceptions you have before you join, the industry, and those myths are often broken down, not just for particularly this journalism industry, but in general for any industry. So, what are the
Right.
myths, and what is it which could be a reality check for those who may be wanting to, move to journalism at some point of time?
Yeah, I'll break this into two. One of it is, I'll start with the myths. The biggest myth of journalism or journalists is that it has everything to do with writing, which is incorrect. Journalism has a lot to do with many things other than writing. Writing is something that happens at the last stage. Before that, there is, you are collecting all your news, you are getting your sources, you are reconfirming, rechecking, being accurate about what you're reporting, and then comes the writing. So, there are a lot of people who come to me and say, oh, you must be writing so well, you and show me your poetry. And are you thinking of writing a book? I said, no, one has nothing to do with the other. So that is a myth. Writing is not all that you need, and also it's not all glamour. Maybe glamour for the TV guys, but definitely no glamour for the print. It is serious work, because there is a lot that goes behind everything that you see in the newspaper the next day. So it should be taken up seriously for anybody who intends to get in. And what was your next part?
So first was basically
It's
myths, and if you have to give some reality check, so they more or less the
check.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what actually needs to be kept in mind is, that journalism is actually a draft of the history, right? So it has to be taken with that seriousness. You have to be very particular about what's going in the screen time, or what's going in your newspaper space with that ink. You have to be very, very careful about that. Unfortunately, now with all the loud noises and flashy headlines, it's becoming a little difficult to sort of hold on to the nobleness of the profession. So yeah, one
And
should seek for that.
absolutely. The work of a legal journalist seems very on ground. Like, you have to be hands on. When there is a
Yeah,
breaking judgment coming, you have to run there, understand from everybody what the perspective is. So it's like you're on your toes all the time, which does require
absolutely.
a lot of, presence of mind, a lot of awareness, and being very active, not so
Yes,
much, I think more mentally active as compared to even physically for that matter. So
yes.
that leads to my next question. What is it that you love so much about journalism that keeps you going on?
Because I have studied journalism on my bachelor's level and postgrad level, it has trained me to be one. You have to have the right temperament to be a journalist, where you're not losing it when there is a breaking news, and you have your calm, where you're cross checking something, but your boss is on your head saying that, let me know, has this happened, has this not happened. It's now there's Twitter and there's this and that, you have all kinds of forums. So I think what keeps me going is the realization that what we do is sort of creating a narrative. We are educating our readers. We are creating some sort of an awareness. When somebody picks up the newspaper the next day, they get to know what is happening. So, that is something that makes me feel that I am an agent of change. So that's a good feeling, because the media is the fourth pillar of the country. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that is something that, of course, I do get bogged down several times, but I think the larger picture being that, tomorrow somebody is going to learn about something or get to know of something by what I am writing. So that's a good feeling.
I'm sure it is a good one. And tell me, in journalism, we have some really stark stories about how you're compensated. So, if somebody
Oh,
who loves journalism, like someone like you, right, for that matter, and I know for a fact, even for litigating lawyers, money is not something that drives them in the beginning, but that's something eventually you do want, for sustainability. Can
of
you throw
course.
some light? Can you throw some light about remuneration and how to survive per se in a field that does take a little while for you to grow?
Right. So see, journalism, entire media, in fact, does not pay you well. Whoever is listening, whoever is thinking of becoming a journalist, please get this edged in your mind and memory that it does not pay you enough. It does not pay you well, unless again you join one of those, the big players in TV and in print. But what I can say is, the satisfaction, the job satisfaction that you get at the end of the day is the only thing that will keep you going. Don't enter the field for the money. Enter it for the passion.
The passion. Can I add to that and say that money will flow someday?
Yeah, of course. When you go higher up, when you're climbing the hierarchy and you're getting senior and all of that, then definitely. But the growth is slow. That is something that I would like to say. It's slow.
But worth it.
Yeah, because especially in print, as they keep saying, print is dying, and the import duty of the newspaper and the ink, all that is increasing, and all those things that keep coming up with the dying industry. So you as an employee will definitely not benefit. So
Yeah.
the growth is slow.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being so honest about
Yeah,
it. I think that's great. Because, there's certain questions nobody really talks about. And I know
yeah,
you will
yeah.
talk about it. So I thought, let me just make use of the opportunity. That's
I'm
actually
glad
great.
you did.
Well, okay, so my last question to you, Sonam, is that, if you were to give a word of encouragement or advice or tip, however you may put it, for somebody who's pursuing law or somebody who's done law and has a knack for journalism and does want to switch, and going by experience that you've had both journalism and you've had law, what would be your word of wisdom for that person? So that's one part of it. And also somebody who's done journalism and is contemplating if he or she should do a LLB for better understanding of the nuances of the law, what would your suggestion be?
See, this way or that way, the only thing that I would like to say is do it only if you really want to do it. Because either way, that is the only thing that will keep you going every day. Because you will have stories to file each and every day. Even on Sundays, there'll be no Holi, Diwali, Christmas happening. You will have to file stories 4, 5, 6, sometimes even more. So you really have to want to do it, whether it is journalism to law or law to journalism. Of course, the study of the law is something that will help you enter the field, and the study of journalism will also help you get better. You will learn the skills, you will know how to do it. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line of it is you really have to understand what it means to be a journalist.
Yeah.
And
That's actually
yeah,
quite, well put, because it kind of goes for every profession. Now that I've asked the question, it just occurred to me. I mean, why
yeah,
do we choose to be in a certain profession, right? And how long can, remuneration be your priority? Because if that's
yes,
the
exactly.
or popularity for that matter, if your name is getting published in the newspaper, if your face is available on the internet,
Yeah,
as a reporter, that's a very short term goal. So yeah, I think
truly.
passion, like you rightly said.
Truly,
Yeah.
because now what's also happening is with Twitter becoming so big, like sometimes we are quoting what people have tweeted in our stories, which is,
Yes.
I think, the lowest point for print journalism. I would like to hope it is the lowest and we don't create a new low. So, that has also become a level of competition where, how many tweets did somebody get, how many follows does somebody have. So, all this actually doesn't mean anything. It is just something that people create. But when you just focus on the kind of work that you do and what it means in the larger scheme of things, you really have to have the fire in the belly, as they say.
Yeah. Tell me something, Sonam. If tomorrow you were made like the chairman of the board, okay, board of legal journalism. I'm just making it up. I'm sure there is one or there is none. I don't know,
There
but
is none.
there is none. Okay, so then hypothetically there was a board and you were the chairman, and you were to make certain hard decisions about bringing in. It could be bringing in ethics or bringing in some procedural changes in the way legal journalism functions at this day and age. What are the first three changes you want to make ASAP?
I would like to shift out all the legal journalists that we have. I would want to keep shifting their roles in terms of if somebody is covering the High Court, I would make them cover the lower court, High Court. I would do that because that really gives them the perspective of news in as a wholesome. It really helps you understand what things lie at the High Court and what are the stories that lie in the Sessions Court. So definitely juggle the reporters. Second thing being giving less importance to lawyers and not running behind, I don't want to take names, but well, if I have to, Ujjwal Nigams and Manish Indes. So, not doing that and focusing on what lies in the petition or the affidavit or the other papers, which really has the crucial information. And the third being, talk about the law. What happens is we are so busy writing and covering news every day, breaking and this and that and the other, that we forget the importance of the law behind it. What does the law say? Because law is an aspect of your everyday life. Even if you are running a restaurant, a parlor, or a school, anything, each and every person comes to the court when there is a dispute. So, to focus, I mean, if I had my way, I would have every newspaper or every channel have at least 5 minutes or a small slot in the paper explaining what the law says in the particular story. That is something that is diminishing, and I feel it needs to come back to the limelight.
It's actually That's actually quite relevant because we don't have it. And the
Yeah,
funny thing is, if today a layman had to Google how to, I don't know, something to do with trust or how to file a notice or just something as basic as getting notary done, a
yeah,
plethora of random advices would come on Google. But if we have
absolutely.
authentic forums like, the Hindu, they giving legit information backed by sources, I think that'll
Yeah.
really be helpful to the community in
It
general.
is because I'll tell you with the Hindu what we do as a matter of practice is each time we are covering a case of suicide or anything to do with any mental health issue, at the end of the story we always mention NGOs and helplines where people who are facing some sort of an mental illness and don't know what to do can call and have access to some help. So
Yeah.
small things like these can really make a difference.
Absolutely. It's very, very insightful. Once again, thank you so much for taking out your time on a Friday
My
evening.
pleasure.
I was just hoping that I hope she doesn't message saying that, listen, I have to go to the court. So can we do this later? I was like, no, that's not happening. So I'm so glad this worked out. And, the Grey Matter is building a community of lawyers who dared to act differently. And you being our first guest, I want to say a big
That's
thank you
wonderful.
for being a part of our community. And to everyone else who's watching, thank you so much for taking out your time to be a part of this session. And we have a lot of more interesting stories coming up. So watch out for this space. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
being
much,
here.
Shreya. I love talking to you.
Likewise. I'll see you around. Take care.
Yes. Bye.